Hi everyone, I hope you all are fine. I'm making videos after many days. However, after watching Figma's new updates, I got really excited. And from my perspective, variables are the biggest updates of Figma so far. So today in this video, we're going to work with variables. So let me demonstrate first what you're going to do. So this is a design of purchasing burgers. Alright, so first of all, I've taken this design from David Morrell, a big thanks to him. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna paste this Figma link in my description so that you guys can copy the design and copy exactly what I'm doing here. Alright, cool. So let me first demonstrate what we are gonna do. So in this design, as you can see, we have price of burgers, we have the number value, we have some buttons, we have descriptions and other things. Over here we have total price and item added, all this stuff. And what we are going to do, when we click on this plus icon, the price and the value should be increased, and we also can decrease it when we click on this remove icon, and it doesn't go beyond 0, it stops there. Also, you might have noticed one thing, which is happening over here. When it is 1, it is one item. When it is 2, it becomes items, right? Which is pretty obvious. So we are going to make everything in Figma. And also I need to show you this, like what we are going to do, what we are going to build. So we are going to make up these logics, all these logics today. We're going to learn about it, and all these logics for this remove icons also. Well, it might be a bit overwhelming for some people, but don't worry about it at all. I'm gonna explain everything, and I'll make it super easy to understand. And also we are gonna work with these variables like this one. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna remove all of it so that we can work from scratch and understand it, understand everything. All right, so I'm gonna remove every connection with the variables from the design, and later on I'll explain what we need to connect or how we are gonna make those variables. All right, so I'm gonna connect this one, also disconnect this one also, and this one, and also this one. All right, cool. So also I'll remove this interaction from here and this interaction. All right, so nice. So first thing first, to do this kind of design, first we need to understand, or we need to identify which data we are gonna take and where we are gonna use those data to make some changes, right? So from this design, we can see that we need to take this price of the burger, and we need to make some changes over here each time we are clicking on this add button or this remove button, right? And we also want to do something with this. We want to increase the value or decrease the value based on this button selection, right? Based on the clicks, depending on the clicks of this button. And also we want to change this item, this property. Also we want to work with this property. We want to turn this on and off. All right, so you might be wondering why we have two items. All right, I'm gonna explain it later on. It's pretty easy. And why do we need it? Because remember, when it becomes 2, we want to show items, right? And when it is 1 or 0, we want to show items. So depending on this value, we're gonna turn this on and off. So we're gonna set the logic later on. All right, so let us go one by one. So first we need to connect our properties with the variables. Now, before that, I also need to mention this thing, right, which is whenever we are doing this kind of design or interaction, we need to make the design in a way where we can separate items, right? For example, if you look at this price, I have made two text layers because I want to take only the value here. I don't want to take the dollar sign, right? I want to take this value and connect it with a variable and use it later on. That's why you need to separate the items whichever you want to take, right? All right, cool. So let us first make the variable and connect it with our properties. So what we need, we need this price variable, right? So you come here, local variables, you need to click on this and you'll get this window, and you need to click on create variable. Right, cool. So what we need here, we need number. All right, so we need price, and we want the price to be 12.50 initially, and we also want to take this, as a variable and connect this value with a variable. All right, so we're going to take quantity, so let us call it qty and make the initial value to 1. All right, also we need to have total price because we want to change it, right? So we want to create another variable, so let us call it total price, and we can make the initial value to 12.50. Why? Because initially we want to show 1 on the screen, so it makes sense to have the price here, right? And we also want to have this we also want to connect this with our variables. Why? Because depending on this value, we want to turn this on and off, right? So to do that, we need to have a boolean variable, right? So we want to call it item, and initially we want to turn it on, and we need another boolean. We will call it items, and initially we will turn it off, and in the mode 2 we will turn it on, right? Why? Because when it is 1, which we want to show in the default screen, we want to show only items, right? We don't want to show items, we just want to show items. So initially it should be turned off. It will make more sense when I'll connect it. All right, so let us connect. We have made our variables, let us connect our properties with the variables. So we want to select this one and come back here. You see this new icon here, which is called apply variable. We click on this, and now we see the variables we have created. So this one should be connected with price, right? And this one should be connected with quantity, and this one should also be connected with quantity, right? And this one should be connected with total price. These items should be connected with that boolean variable, right? So what we want to do, we want to turn it on and off, right? So we want to work with this layer section. So we need to come here and right click on this icon to connect it with the boolean variable we have created. So item, which is initially true, right? So we click on it, item. Now we also need to connect it with items, right? So the items is initially turned off, right? So it should go away. So if we click on it, it will go away, right? Why? Because in our local variables, the initial mode 1 value is turned off, right? That's why it's not visible here. All right, so we have connected everything. Now we need to perform certain actions when we click on this add icon or this remove icon, right? So we need to select this add icon, go to prototype, and we need to create an interaction here, an on-click functionality. So what we need to do, what we are saying here, when we click on it, let us first set up a goal. So let us work with this value. So what we need to do, when we click on this, we need to set up a variable. What variable? We want to take the quantity and each time we are clicking on it, we want to increase the quantity by 1, which means if we check it, if we click on it, it should become 2, and we should also be viewing this over here. Let me just make this a bit visible to you. All right, so when we click on it, we should be viewing changes here and here, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, cool. But nothing happens when we click on it, right? Why? Because we haven't connected or put any interaction here. So we need to create one. So we have selected remove. And now we need to apply on-click functionality, and we need to do the same thing. Like we need to set up a variable. Which variable? We want to work with the quantity. So we need to take the quantity, and each time we are clicking on it, we need to deduct one item, right? We need to reduce one each time we are clicking on this. So let us check this now. So if we're clicking on this 4, 5, 6, now it should reduce. Nice. Now also we want to do some other actions, like we want to work with this price, right? So when we click on it, we want to take this price and add this price with the total price, right? So when we click on it, we want to set another variable. So what we are taking, so we want to make changes here, right? So we want to take this one. So we want to take total price, and each time we are clicking on it, we are saying take the price and add it with the total price. So addition price, right? So if we check it now, each time we will click on it, we should have, right, 25, then 37.50, the next thing should be 50, cool, and so on. But nothing happens. The value reduces, but the price doesn't reduce because we haven't set it up when we click on the remove icon. All right, so we want to set it up. All right, so what we want to do, we want to reduce the value each time we click on it, right? Reduce the price also. So we want to set up a variable. So we want to take the total price, and each time we are clicking on it, we want to take the total price and subtract or deduct the price from the total price, right? So let us see what's going to happen here. So each time it's increasing. Now we, moment of truth, decrease. Cool, nice. But the problem is it goes to negative, right? Yeah, because we haven't told it, right? When the value is 0, when the value, don't calculate it beyond 0, right? We need to tell Figma that when the quantity is 0, don't calculate it, don't do anything, don't go to negative. We need to set that up. So how we can do that? We need to identify that. So what we want to do here, we want to check if the quantity over here, this one, if it is 1 or greater than 1, then perform this action. Why? Because what we are doing here, we are taking the quantity, taking it and reducing it by 1 each time we are clicking on it, right? So we want to stop that action. We want to stop that functionality when this quantity value becomes 0 or 1, right? Or 2. So what we are going to do, we can set it up in this way. So we want to check an if condition, right? So we want to check if the quantity is greater than or equal 1. So by that we're telling if the quantity is 1 or more than 1, then what we need to do, we need to minimize this and we need to drag it and pull it underneath this condition. So what we are saying, if the quantity is more than 1 or 1, then perform this logic, right? Like deduct 1 and set the total price to total price minus price, right? So let us check what it has done. All right, so plus, now if we click on it, minus, right? Minus. Now 1 item, 0 item. Moment of truth, nothing happens. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Nice. Cool. So for example, if we wanted to set it to 1, fix it to 1, we could do this thing. Like we could set the logic to 2, right? So what we are telling here, if the quantity is 2 or more than 2, like 3, 4, 5, 6, then perform this action, right? So what it's gonna do is gonna go here and it should have stuck here, right? It doesn't go back. Cool. So we have this functionality, all these functionalities, but one thing is left, you might have noticed, which is we are increasing the item value, we are increasing the item price, but the item remains always item, right? So we want to change it based on this quantity, right? So we want to make it to item when it is 1, and we want to make it items when it is more than 1, right? So we need to perform certain actions here. So first of all, we need to change the item to items based on the quantity. So what we need to do, we need to check this inside our add button because we want to perform that action when we are clicking on it. So we need to provide a conditional value, right? And the value should be taking the quantity, right? The logic should be taking the quantity. So if the quantity is more than 1, what we want to do, if the quantity is more than 1, let me just put greater than 1, then we want to take this item, right? So we want to set up a variable. So what we are taking this item and moving this item to its mode 2. Why? Because in our mode 2, you can see from here, we are taking this item and moving it to its, because it is in mode 1, and now we are moving it to its mode 2, which is false. That means if it is the value, the quantity is 2, it should go away. We should not be viewing this on the screen. So let us check if that works. So it is 1. Now if we click on it, it should go away. Gone, right? So what we have said here is we are telling if the quantity is more than 1, is greater than 1, then set the item property to its mode 2. Now what we want to do here, we want to reappear the items, right? Which is in the false statement right now. This one. So in the mode 1 it is false, and in mode 2 it's true, right? So we want to take this one and make it to mode 2, which is true. So let us do that. So we click on it and we need to apply that variable here. So in this plus button, we need to set up a variable. And what variable? We are taking this, which is false now. So we want to fix this, Figma. We want to take again these items and set it to items in mode 2, right? So now if we check it, 1 item, 2 items, right? Previously it was gone from the screen, now we have items, right? But the problem is it remain items even when it is 1, because we haven't set up any logic for this remove icon, right? So we need to set up that logic. So now what's the logic should be? So what we need to check here. So we need to check here if the quantity is 1 or less than 1, right? We want to apply item then. So let us first apply the if condition like the previous way. So we want to take the quantity and we want to check if it is equal 1 or less than 1, right? If it is equal 1 or less than 1, then also we need to take another thing, which is the items variable. Why? Because already the items variable is turned on based on the interaction. If you can remember, when you click on the add button, the item becomes items. So we need to check if the items is turned on, I mean in its mode 2 or not. So is equal to items, and you need to click on these items, second items, and check if it is in its mode 2 or not, right? And then we need to perform some action. Which action? So we need to set up a variable. Which variable? So what we are saying, make these items, because you know this item is turned on, right? The second one, the plural one, is turned on right now because we have already clicked on this plus, already clicked on that plus icon, right? So we are checking, we want to make these items to this item statement, but the problem is if we do that, nothing's gonna happen. Let me show you. Plus items is gone. Why? The reason it's gone, now at this point this item is in its turned off state. So if we check here, remember this item was initially turned on. That's why with 1 we had item, but when we clicked on the add icon, we turned this off and turned these items on. That's why now we are saying that when you click on it, you should check if the quantity is 1 or less than 1, and also you should check if the items in its mode 2 state, which is true. Then perform this action. Which action? Turn the items to item. Now at this point, the item in its mode 2 state, which is false state, right? So we need to set this to its true statement. So what we need to do, set up a variable and we need to make another variable here, right? So we need to take the item and put it to its true statement, right? So this is what we are trying to do. So we took these items and make it to the item variable, and at this point the item variable was turned off. That's why we set up the item variable to its true statement, right? Now let's see if it works or not. So one item, 12.50. 2 items, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now if we reduce, moment of truth is coming. It should be 1 item. Boom. Nice. Cool. Yep, we have done it. Nice. Let us make it to 0. Let us see the 0 value also, right? So we'll go over here and make it to 1. So if we check again, items, item. Nice. Cool. Hope you have learned something new. If you have enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section. If you are facing difficulties understanding it, Let me know in the comment section also. Yep, happy designing.